Boy, you
13-play drive. I'm sorry, Phil.
I said, are you nervous yet?
No. But it could get there. Terrence Wilkins from the 9. Wilkins to the 20. And out to the 22, the 23-yard line. Steve McNair wanted the touchdown the last time he was on the field, and he says, hey, I just missed it. Does Peyton Manning have one in him today? A fourth-quarter comeback. Starting from his 23, it's the best field position the Colts have had this half. They have begun from their own 19 and their own 6 here in the second half. Edgerrin James with blockers in front of it. And penetrating the blockers to make the stop is Indianapolis' own Blaine Bishop.
What a play by Blaine Bishop. Such a key to this game today. Watch number 23. Takes on 2 blockers. Terrence Wilkins misses him. Then an offensive lineman's out there. Who hits him? Tar Glenn hits him. Still gets through it. Makes the tackle on Edgerrin James for no gain.
An all-state football player at Cathedral High School here in Indianapolis. An 8th-round pick back in 1993. Manning with time. Over the middle. Almost intercepted by Samari Rolle, who came across the field with Marvin Harrison.
Nice play by Samari Rolle. One-on-one coverage with Marvin Harrison. Watch as they come across the field. Inside technique, stays underneath, now turns it on, looks for the football. Boy, that's close. We said earlier, Jeff Fisher says when you study film on this Indianapolis Colts and Peyton Manning, he throws about 4 balls a game where you get your hands on them. A couple of them, you just got to make the play.
Manning and the Colts just 4 of 11 on 3rd down conversion attempts today. From the shotgun. Throwing long down the far side. It is incomplete. Diving attempt made by Jerome Pathan. And the Colts will kick it away.
What a throw by Peyton Manning. Down the sideline, he waits. In the pocket, gets that extra second. Diving catch, tough catch to make. But still, it caught the Titans defense looking short. Almost went over the top.
Hunter Smith's numbers today as he prepares to kick it away to Derek Mason. And again, the Titans should have good field position coming out of this. Nice kick by Smith from the 21. Huge block on the far side of the field. And Mason is thrown out of bounds at about the 32 to 33-yard line. Paul Shields handing out the heavy-duty shoulder pads. On special teams, you want to know what it sounds like and maybe feels like? It's Perry Phoenix. Remember the song, By the Time I Get to Phoenix? What happens when Phoenix comes to you?
You save money for travel.
Tennessee with the ball in a 16-9 lead. From the 33-yard line, Eddie George shakes the tackler across the 35 to the 37-yard line.
I could just hear about 5 people stomp their feet. And that's the Indianapolis defensive coaches next to us, because you go and you got a chance to have 2nd and 12 or 13. Instead, it's 2nd and 6.
Let's go back to the top of the day, Phil. You said they don't want Eddie George to beat them. 140-plus yards for the day is not what the Colts defense had in mind. George again. This time gets stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
Greg, when I say you didn't want him to beat, you didn't want to lose the game because Eddie George had a spectacular day. Besides that one long run, they've done a really good job. And I think we said if you keep him to about 150 yards or under, that gives you a tremendous chance to win the game. I didn't think he would rip off one of those 70-yarders, for a long touchdown.
Eddie George, 19 carries, 145 yards. 3rd and 4. Play clock to 1. They got the snap off. McNair on the draw, and he won't get first down yardage. Out to the 42, and he's about a yard shy.
Nice fake by Steve McNair and all the linemen and wide receivers trying to act like they were making an audible to throw the football when it was the quarterback draw right from the start. And the Indianapolis Colts, anytime they get in a situation, it's 3rd and 5 or less, you have to look for the quarterback draw now.
Craig Hentrick averaging 53 yards a punt today. Terrence Wilkins capable of taking it all the way back. High floater, Wilkins at the 10, 20, 40. Can they catch him? Wilkins down the sideline and out of bounds at the 3.
Well, the Titans, they were worried about the speed of Terrence Wilkins, and you can see why. Once he catches the football, look at this, going straight ahead. And when he gets into the open field, he has the speed and the moves to make it happen.
Go back and take a look at the replay. Oh, that is oh so close to the sideline.
And now you got him. Well, here comes the challenge. Timeout. Oh, no, he's...
Jeff is saying the buzzer doesn't work. Well, you know Jeff Fisher didn't want to take that timeout. We'll take a timeout, and we'll come right back. Well, this has been challenged by Jeff Fisher. Let's take a look and watch Terrence Wilkins' right foot.
Very close. Couldn't tell from the first replay. Okay.
The question is, will that be conclusive proof for Johnny Greer?
You tell me, Greg. I think it's very close. He's hitting that thing. Take that red flag. Who's holding the red flag?
Here comes Johnny Greer. This is a big play.
Here's what you have to do. It has to be conclusive. That's what we're going to find out. And we're getting the answer already by watching the teams move back.
After reviewing the play, the runner stepped out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Tennessee will not be charged with a timeout for the challenge. They will be charged with a timeout at this end of the field. They have 2 timeouts remaining.
The 33-yard line they're talking about is the Colt 33.
Boy, that is really close. But it does look like he just steps on the edge. Johnny Greer thought that was enough to overturn the call.
Imagine the conversation around the old water coolers in the morning if there was no such thing as a review.
Greg, that is a great point, and that's what it's in here for, is for big plays that happen in any football game, but especially big plays that happen in a playoff situation.
Jeff Fisher has had his share of reviews. The one last week at the end of the game, Buffalo. Now, I bet Jeff Fisher is saying, you know, I'll bet you he doesn't want to have to be charged with a timeout.
Well, I think he's right. I think he was trying to hit the button. It didn't work. So they somehow called the timeout to get him to stop play so he could challenge.
Who did we see earlier this year had a problem?
Well, you see it a lot, Greg. We've seen it a few games where they try to challenge and it doesn't work. He's pushing the button. Can't get it. Nobody can get it. I think somebody now he goes.
Reset the game clock to 9:25.
So if he can't get the challenge button to work, somebody call timeout.
Earlier this season, we saw Jimmy Johnson saying he couldn't get his to work and ended up throwing everything but the kitchen sink out on the
That was here. That's right. It was here.
So it's first down for the Colts from their own 33 instead of the Titan 3-yard line. What a difference a review can make. Penalty markers fly. This doesn't count. But Terrence Wilkins takes the hit anyway.
Prior to the snap, ball start, number 88, offense. Still first down.
Number 88 is Marvin Harrison. Well, it's interesting to see now how this Colt offense reacts to such a drastic change in field position.
Well, we just got informed the reason why Jeff Fisher did not get the timeout back that he called originally. If your buzzer doesn't work, you're supposed to take the red flag and throw it. And he even said, I wondered who was carrying that red flag.
Change. For a couple.
You know, you look at this game today and you think,
Jeff Fisher just got the red flag.
well, you know, better late than never.
Harmon, go ahead.
Well, Greg, I can tell you where that red flag was. It was in the trunk on the sidelines, buried about 3 feet deep. Fisher has it now in his pocket, a little bit too late. Back to you.
Peyton Manning throwing complete. Penalty marker is down in the backfield as Terrence Wilkins dives ahead to the 43-yard line. And there is a shoe at the 36. And it belongs to Wilkins.
Well, obvious passing situation.
Holding, 76, offense. Still second down.
The penalty is on Steve McKinney, the left guard.
It gets a little harder to pass protect in situations like this. You have to think if you're the Tennessee Titans on defense, especially when it gets, you know, it's 2nd and 15, now second longer than that, they're going to probably throw the ball, forget the run, go after the quarterback.
Clock moving up on 8.5 to play in the fourth quarter. Manning needs the 43-yard line for a first down. Over the middle. Falling incomplete after bouncing off the shoulder pad of Jerome Pathan.
Greg, what I was going to say before, when you look at this Tennessee defense, don't be shocked what they're doing here today. Even though Indianapolis has Peyton Manning, Edgerrin James, Marvin Harrison, all top of the line at their position, don't forget, Greg Williams, the defensive coordinator, they play against twice this year a Jacksonville team. Mark Brunell, you know, Fred Taylor, the running back, Jimmy Smith, the wide receiver. They did a tremendous job both games against those people, so they weren't intimidated coming in here and playing this Colts offense.
3rd and 22. Pump fake down the middle. Incomplete. Harrison had it across midfield and dropped it.
You wouldn't think 3rd and 22 you could get a chance to pick it up, but Marvin Harrison, just using his speed, outruns Marcus Robinson up the middle of the field and has a chance for the completion in a big game. Just can't come up the catch. Peyton Manning knows we're close, but we just can't make the play to get us going.
This is returnable by Derek Mason on the run at the 40.
Nice play.
reverses field, picks up a block or two, 45, midfield, and tripped up and falls forward close to the 40-yard line. Paul Miranda, number 21, made the trip up for good field position for the Titans. Evening here in Indianapolis. The Colts and their fans pleading for something to happen. Just under 8 minutes to play. 16-9 Tennessee. First down for the Titans at the Indy 42. Eddie George across the 40 to about the 38, maybe the 37-yard line.
Eddie George just always seems to find a way. That's what I noticed last week against the Buffalo Bills. He finds a way just to fall forward. He gets more. Look at those average yards per rush. Look at the teams. Of course, the Titans helped by that long run. But he has a lot of, like, unimpressive 3- and 4-yard runs. And you look up at the end of the day, there he is, 125, 150 yards.
George again. This time stacked up for not much yardage, and it'll be third down. I want to remind you tonight.
And these two teams, of course, going at it for the honour of playing against Jacksonville in the AFC Conference Final. However, next week, our game of the week will come from the NFC, where the mighty St. Louis Rams have a tremendous regular season, but they've got all the hard work to do against Tampa Bay. That is going to be our game of the week at this time next week. In fact, we'll be on air at around 12:15. NFC Championship game. That'll be St. Louis versus Tampa Bay. Now back to this decider.
3rd and 3.
You got to watch the draw again.
Quick pass out to the 31-yard line. Frank Wycheck has enough for a first down.
Well, the Tennessee Titans, it's not the most explosive offense in the National Football League, but they do a lot of nice things. Of course, they run the football. They use Steve McNair with some quarterback draws. They roll him out, but they have a lot of good screen plays and a lot of plays that, like you just saw, where they can pick up certain situations and make it easier on their offense.
First down, Titans. George again to the 28-yard line. Titans have used the rush and the pass pretty evenly. And, you know, you mentioned it a little while ago, Phil. This Tennessee team beat Jacksonville twice during the season. Should they go on and win this game and move on to Jacksonville on Sunday, you probably couldn't find a more confident team going into Jaguar country.
Well, they came in here pretty confident, Greg, so you're right. You beat a team twice. I'd feel pretty good about myself, too.
McNair with time. Now on the run and throws it away. Overthrows Eddie George down the near sideline. And it'll be 3rd and 8.
Tennessee going for the one big play that could end this football game, but the Colts up to it. Covered the receivers very well down the field, and Steve McNair doing the smart thing. Don't take a sack, because you're very close to field goal range.
You know the importance of some more points on the board by Tennessee, because on a couple of occasions, Peyton Manning has been just this far away from making big plays.
How far is that?
Not that far.
Okay.
You see what the Titans need for a first down. Play clock winding down. They get the snap off. Eddie George, left side, bouncing to the outside. He's going to come up short of first down yardage. And Al Del Greco, first one off the sideline and onto the field.
Well, I like Al Del Greco's approach to this whole kicking field goals, and he says, hey, I didn't expect to play this long, so there's no pressure on me. And he just looked at every year, every attempt, just a little something extra sweet on top of a good career.
From 43 yards out, looking for a 10-point lead. And it's there. Del Greco drills his 4th field goal of the day.
How relaxed did Del Greco look just kicking that football? Of course, anytime any athlete, no matter what the skill is, when you're relaxed, your body has a great chance of doing what you want it to do. Now, don't get too excited. Oh, yeah, thank you. That's good. It's only maybe the game, your whole season. But again, that's why, Greg, you know, when you watch him, that's why he's successful. He just doesn't show any tension in his body. There we go.
16 seasons on the sideline. Steve McNair is feeling pretty good about Jacksonville, Florida right about now.
Now, it took Tennessee, I thought it took them a while today, but they did a wonderful job incorporating Steve McNair into the game plan. It was always a good mixture. They never got too carried away with just running Eddie George, and they let Steve McNair be part of the game and have success, and that's why they're up by 10 right now.
Remind you once again, 60 Minutes is next, except on the West Coast. Here's Terrence Wilkins from the 14. Right up the middle and across the 35. They say there's a loose ball. The Titans say they have it.
Finger to the ground, pointing to the ground, you're down.
And the officials say Indy with the football.
Down by contact. There's no fumble on the play.
That's right. But we couldn't see anyway because there's about 10 people that joined this pile. Let's watch as Terrence Wilkins goes in there.
Well,
doesn't matter. Indianapolis recovered it anyway, so the call was on the field.
From the 37-yard line, Manning needs to make something happen. Quick pass is complete to the 43, Jerome Payton. Clock continues to move. 4 minutes to play in regulation. This one into the turf, intended for Marvin Harrison, and Javon Curse was in there on Peyton Manning.
They've got to keep a running back in that backfield who can search for a defensive lineman to block, because Javon Curse is just lining up and he is getting in a sprinter stance and he's coming around the corner, and I don't know if you can block him one-on-one in these situations. Got a tight end up to his side to try to slow him down.
3rd and 4. Pump fake, tipped at the line. Manning goes down. The pass is incomplete. And Curse got a piece of it. Boy, was Adam Meadows doing some hand-to-hand combat.
Well, now you know why the Colts have been trying to run the football so much today. Because if you just keep dropping back, Javon Curse, the man with about a 50-inch vertical jump. If you just keep dropping back in obvious passing situations, I don't know if you can protect the quarterback on a consistent basis.
4th down. Manning pump fake. Has time, throws down the sideline, incomplete. Edgerrin James was there, appeared to go right through his hands.
Greg, it did, but it was still good coverage. The defensive back, number 30, Donald Mitchell, is right on him. So Edgerrin James, I'm sure, cannot see the football the whole time. Then it comes over the head of the defender. Tough catch. And look at that. Nice technique. Donald Mitchell had his hand between Edgerrin James. Even if it lands in there, he's going to knock it out.
And guess what? That brings some of the Indianapolis patrons to their feet and heading for the exits.
Don't get a little, be careful there, Mr. Favors. There's still a long way to go.
3:34 to be exact. Eddie George across the 40 to the 38. If there is a team that represents the poster children for it ain't over till it's over. It's the Tennessee Titans.
It is.
Timeout on the field charged to the Colts.
And Greg, as you look at this game, you can't say, oh, Indianapolis, they didn't do this. This is Tennessee. They have dictated play most of the day, and they played their style of football. And that's the reason why they're ahead.
Should the Tennessee Titans hold on, we'll see them in Jacksonville. If Indianapolis should rally, whoever wins this game is on its way to Jacksonville, and so are we next Sunday, 12:30 Eastern Time here on CBS. And of course, the Ma Barker gang will precede us at 12 noon.
Well, you know what I hope? I hope Jerry Glanville's feeling better then. Maybe he get down in the sun, warm him up a little, take care of that cold.
2nd and 5. George, left side. Close to the 35, and the timeout called by the Colts, and that'll be their final timeout with 3:16 to play here in the fourth. While we have a moment, the executive producers of the NFL on CBS are Sean McManus and Terry Ewert. The coordinating director of the NFL on CBS is Larry Cavallina. You know him. And the producer of today's game is Mark Wolf. The senior producer of the NFL Today is Eric Mann. The NFL Today is directed by Bob Mattina. Our associate directors today's game, Ross Schneiderman, Brian Lilly, and Steve Karasik. And our broadcast associates are Ryan Galvin and Jonathan Siegel. Pete Calander, our tech manager, and our production manager is Rainey McHenry. Thank you one and all to our entire crew on hand here in Indianapolis. And we'll all be with you again next Sunday from Jacksonville.
Well, what do you do if you're the Tennessee Titans? We know what Indianapolis has to do. They have to stop them on this play. But as I look at Tennessee, what do you decide to do? Do you throw the football? Do you stop the clock? Or do you run it, let more time run off? Punt the football away? That's what I would do.
3rd and 3. Eddie George lost the football. Picked up by the Colts. Mark Thomas with the football. That is whistled down, and they're going to bring it back.
Hey, nice hustle. I couldn't see who fell on Mark Thomas, but we saw yesterday so many players quit before the whistle. That time, Tennessee didn't.
First time today, Tennessee has turned the football over.
Watch the handoff. It doesn't look like it's clean. Oh, it's in there. Eddie George stumbles. That makes him fumble the football. The Titans see it. Frank Wycheck, number 89, there's a fumble. And reaches out, touches Mark. Well, he just tackled Mark Thomas.
So Manning and the Colts still alive from the 39. Over the middle, incomplete, in and out of the hands of Harrison.
Listen, this all can be attributed to one thing. Pressure on the quarterback. Again, Peyton Manning moving those feet under pressure. Doesn't have time to look down the field. Makes it hard to be accurate when you're throwing with your feet, being hit by a defensive lineman or moving around your offensive lineman.
3:06 to play. Manning throws. That one's complete across midfield to Jerome Capen. That'll be a first down, and the clock continues to move, coming up on 2:55.
What you want to do, if nothing else, you got to make sure when you get in field goal range, you need 2 scores. It doesn't matter when they come.
Manning throws this side, and it's low and incomplete. Terrence Wilkins trying to scoop it off the turf. Stops the clock with 2:41 to play. Eddie George, 25 carries, 165 yards, and a touchdown today.
Now, a couple passes in a row by the Indianapolis Colts. So this is one thing that's impressive when you look at Tennessee's defense. They just bring in a whole new defensive line. It's fresh, They're ready now to go after the quarterback.
We remind you, 60 minutes coming up next here on CBS. 2nd and 10. Manning throws this side. It is incomplete. Terrence Wilkins had it, was hit, and dropped it.
Blaine Bishop, what a game. What a game he has had today so far. Watch this. Perfect throw by Peyton Manning. Gets that right hand in there. Got a cast on it. That helps. Knocks the football out.
Of the 31 tickets Mr. Bishop handed out, you don't think any of them have left today?
He said the last time I came in this dome with the Houston Oilers, we got killed. So today, a different story for him and his football team.
Manning throwing complete, and that's another first down to the 35-yard line. Peyton. Under 2.5 to play. Remember, the Colts with no timeouts. Manning, far side, incomplete, and going for the interception, Blaine Bishop.
Take a bow, go ahead. His helmet got knocked off. He didn't take it off. So that's not a penalty. Peyton Manning sees Blaine Bishop behind him. Well, he did take his helmet off.
2nd and 10. Manning, complete. Wilkins to the 25. First down, and we come up to 2 minutes to play. Peyton Manning, Jim Mora and the Colts down 10, 2 minutes to play. Jeff Fisher and the Titans trying to hang on. Javon Hurst and the Tennessee defense trying to keep the Colts at bay.
The one thing, if you're the quarterback, Peyton Manning, of course, don't be too aggressive. Don't take a chance and turn the football over. At least get a field goal try out of this, prolong the football game.
Late snap, movement at the line of scrimmage. And who's it going to go against?
I couldn't tell.
Here's Johnny Greer.
Encroachment, defense, still first down.
Joe Salavea, number 95, in the middle of the line. So it's 1st and 5 from the 20-yard line. Manning throws inside the 10, in and out of the hands of Ezra and James, incomplete. And that's another pass, Phil, I think should have been caught.
There have been, I'd say, Greg, about 5 passes that have been like that today. This is the perfect throw by Peyton Manning. He sees James going down the field. He throws it to his back shoulder, make him turn around and catch it because he sees the defensive back in front of him. If you lead him, he's just going to get killed. The Colts keeping 2 people in the backfield to make sure Peyton Manning gets some protection.
And the whistle blows again. And number 99, Kenny Holmes, with a jump.
Kenny Holmes, he's been a big difference maker so far today.
Offside, defense, unabated to the quarterback. That's a first down.
So with just 4 seconds off the clock, the Colts have gained 10 yards since the 2-minute warning. And a first down at the 15. Steve McNair. Hurst on the run. Manning to the 5. Touchdown. Penalty marker is down on both sides of the field. I'm guessing it's encroachment by Javon Hurst.
Offside. Number 90, defense is declined. Touchdown is good.
15-yard touchdown run by Peyton Manning with 1:51 to play. And it's not over.
I couldn't tell if that was the quarterback draw or Peyton Manning just sees the hole and takes off. Javon Curse a little early. Manning has to come up inside because if Curse is in the backfield, showing Steve McNair he's not the only quarterback in this game who can run with it.
Vanderjagt's kick is good. And let's go back and watch the touchdown run by Peyton Manning.
Well, he's forced up into the pocket almost immediately because of Javon Curse on the outside. He sees the pressure, steps up inside. Makes me think he did this on his own because I don't see any linemen releasing, going down the field trying to make blocks. You watch the offensive line. Looked like it was supposed to be a quick pass. Good job by Peyton Manning. Well, it comes down to this. The onside kick.
Danny Kite will be the man kicking it for the Colts.
The one thing we saw last week, Greg, we were doing Miami and Seattle. We saw Miami do it. The kicker takes the ball and just kicks it right down into the AstroTurf, and it goes so high in the air, it really just becomes a jump ball. I have never seen the Colts do it.
Most of the Tennessee defenders are up close and to the near side of the field, which is where Kite would bounce it. And look at all the Colts on the near side. Here we go. Bounced into the air, picked off, and it's Tennessee ball. Yancey Thigpen went up and grabbed it and held on.
Didn't get the type of kick you need in that situation. This ball does two things. It doesn't go high enough, and it just goes to the outside, which gives Tennessee even a better chance of recovering the onside kick. Look at it. Doesn't get high enough in the air for the Colts to get down there and make a play on it.
The ideal thing for Jeff Fisher, he's got a receiver with the football coming down. A minute 50 to play, and Indianapolis out of timeouts. A couple of knees, and the Titans are on their way to Jacksonville. As we said, they knocked off the Jacksonville Jaguars twice this season. 20-19 at Jacksonville in week 3, 41-14 week 15 in Nashville.
Well, they say, I've heard it said many times, it's hard to defeat a team 3 times in 1 year.
Both those losses at home to Jacksonville, or to Tennessee, the last 2 seasons. McNair taking another knee at the line of scrimmage.
You got to, Greg, you got to look at the Indianapolis Colts. It was a successful year. They didn't come into this game. They didn't panic. They weren't rusty. None of those things. They got beat by the better football team today. That's all it is. Tennessee played solid football on both sides. They deserve to win.
Eddie George cheering and encouraging the Tennessee faithful who have made the trek here as the clock continues to move. McNair with another knee. And guess what? Jeff Fisher and the Tennessee Titans are on their way to the AFC Championship game. Jim Mora still without a postseason victory. Now 0-5 for his career. Jeff Fisher told us last night, we think we can win this football game. He had a plan to do it. They came out and they executed perfectly.
Well, they did. Both sides of the football so well played. The big stars for him, they stepped up. They had big games. That's why the Tennessee Titans are going to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars.
And there you go, and the only road win of the weekend there, Mike.
Yeah, and a good one. I mean,
Yeah.
they do deserve the win. Indianapolis, the guys just didn't step up when they had the chance. I mean, Manning threw some good balls that weren't caught, and Tennessee's defense was just tremendous. I wonder if a coach ever tells them before the game that we don't think we have a chance to win this game.
Interesting
It would
concept,
be unlikely, wouldn't it? It just occurred to me, too, that onside kickoffs would be minutes played for the benefit of Mr. Kite, if Danny Kite is your kicker. But basically, you know, now you've got in your two conference championships 4 teams with the best records in their conferences. Although you would have had that as well with Indianapolis. But so it's worked out basically for the best. And Tennessee, having beaten Jacksonville twice during the regular season, arguably does deserve to be there.
Absolutely. Okay, this leaves us with this then. Let's have a look at the action coming up next weekend. Tennessee at Jacksonville, as you heard mentioned there, is going to be the first game, and that is our game of the week. There is Tampa Bay at St. Louis. Player a game of the week is a 12:15 start for you here on Channel 5. Coming up after the break for you, we've got even more action for you. It's a wild card highlights featuring Miami and Seattle. Mike and I will be ensemble for you next week on Sunday.
See you.